Don, Kyle, A0Z, and I got Robert, W5ITR. Hello, Robert.
Howdy.
Don, I think he went to Go Tinkle. I don't know where he went, but he is he's coming back. There he is. Hey,
Hey!
Don. Don, WA4MCM. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Kyle. I'm doing well, thank you.
So, if you don't know anything about Don, you should go check out, just type in WA4MCM into your web browser. He makes a antenna switcher. He makes a SWR and power meter. He makes a 4-port antenna switcher and an 8-port antenna switcher. And now he's come out with a portable satellite rotator azimuth elevation, awesome, cool little thing that both Robert and I have purchased and I've put together. So we're going to pick Don's brain, and hopefully we can sell some satellite rotators tonight and show you how cool this thing is. So thank you, Don, for all of the cool things that you have created in the last like 3 or 4 years. So I have bought every single one of them, and and multiple of them at especially at the contest station.
Well, it's absolutely my pleasure to do so, because I would be going crazy in retirement if I wasn't going to the drawing board all the time and designing things. In fact, I go back and revisit old designs and just for the heck of it go and change stuff all the time. So it drives my wife nuts, because I'm always telling her about new things that I'm doing with the old things.
Yeah. You worked for Amtrak, right?
I did for the last 20 years of my career. Sure.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And Don first told me about the auto train?
Auto train, right.
Goes from DC to Orlando?
Yeah, thereabouts. It goes from Lorton, Virginia, which is about 20 miles south of DC, and then goes down to Sanford, Florida, which is about 45 miles from Orlando.
Yeah, and you drive your car onto it, and and it transports your car, right?
Yeah, that's how I get to Hamcation. I'll load my truck up with all my stuff for my all my kits and everything, and I'll just jump on the auto train, and it's an overnight trip.
Yeah, I had no idea. He taught me about the auto train. So yeah, WA4MCMkits.com.
.com.
Yeah, is the website. If you want to go out and take a look at the antenna controller that we're going to showcase here. If you took a look at my 3 streams that I did, I put the whole kit together. Had some issues, but we found out that it was a bad switch. I set my device back to Don, and Don and I are going to swap kits at Hamcation or at Huntsville. You're going to be at Huntsville, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So we're going to swap kits. Don sent me his demo, and let's see if I can bring there's mine right there. It's behind me, behind my green screen here. And I've got SAT PC32 set in here, and we're going to bring that on screen. But first, we're kind of going to get the backstory on, I think, one, you're in retirement and you had some knowledge and you designed all these great kits, and they've been working flawlessly for us at the contest station. The great thing is they're all controllable by Node Red. So therefore they're fully remotable. We control them by Node Red, but and I've had Don on my stream before about, I think we did a stream about, I think, all your products.
Yeah, it was mostly about the meter, though. It was right after the meter came out.
Yeah, after the meter came out. Tell us why you decided to do this rotator. What possessed you to do this?
Oh man, this goes way back. This goes back when I was in college, and
oh geez,
back in the 70s. No, seriously, because I went to school at Purdue, and the Purdue has a great amateur radio club, W9YB, by the way, and that was right when the Oscar 6 and Oscar 7 was around, and I had 3 or 4 3 or 4 of my buddies there in the club. We really wanted to work the satellites, so we put together a satellite station. You know, and when I say we cobbled one together, I mean it. We had a couple of allied TV rotors that were doing azimuth and elevation. It was
Nice.
well, we were a bunch of engineers, right? Engineering students, so
Yeah.
you can imagine what kind of you know, contraption
Right.
resulted. And we were using an old Drake station, and for the uplink, it was a 2-meter uplink. We were using a 2-meter transverter, and so it took like 5 guys to run the station, you know, because
It's like the ultimate, right? You've got
Yeah.
you've got separate rotators. You're using transverters. There's all
and
kinds of
not only
going
that,
on.
we were calculating the azimuth and elevation angles. An old M6800 microprocessor that one of the guys, he was a grad student, and he had programmed it. It worked pretty well, but man, oh man, it was kind of rough. But yeah, so it would calculate azimuth and elevation. It worked pretty well, but we literally needed 5 or 6 guys. One guy to do the talking and press the, you know, push the talk button, and 2 guys to adjust for Doppler shift, and then 2 guys, one for azimuth and one for elevation.
Yeah, it sounds like a party.
Oh yeah. And we worked
have it today.
Yeah, we worked a couple QSOs on Oscar 6 and Oscar 7 back then.
Wow.
So right then I was going to, you know, I had it in my head. I wanted to design, you know, a rotor that would be able to interface with a computer.
Right.
And this was like way at the very beginning of microprocessors. So needless to say, nothing really got done. And then, you know, I started working at Norfolk Naval Shipyard, and the kids came along, and I was very inactive in ham radio for quite a while. And then I went into IT, you know, because I was in electronics at the shipyard. But then I was a civil servant and went through a reduction in force. And I don't know if anybody ever is a civil service. You know, when you go through a reduction in force, you get a lot of hiring preferences. And it just so happened that there was an opening for an IT position, and I kind of weaseled my way into being qualified for an IT, a computer specialist, mainly because one of the radars I was an expert on had a computer in it.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, but it wasn't any computer that anybody would ever use. But anyway, so that kind of sent me down the IT path for the remainder 30 years of my career. And most of that was spent in management, so I kind of didn't have my hands on anything. But always in the back of my head, as I got more and more proficient with computers, you know, and I said, you know, this should be fairly simple to write something that would be able to interface with a rotor. And then, you know, microcontrollers came along,
right? And
you know, the rest is history. So it just kept festering in the back of my head. And then when I got some downtime after the SWR meter had been you know, on the market for a while, and that had kind of settled down, and my support calls had kind of gone away, you know, as I, you know, refined the assembly manual and everything. So I had some time on my hands, and it took me a year. In fact, I've got some pictures. Watch this. Let's see if I can share.
Yeah. Let's see some pictures. Let me see if I can bring this up. So you showed me this. You pulled me aside at Dayton. You had a flea market, and you're just like, hey, look at this. And I was just like, oh my God, this thing is awesome. I gotta have one of these things.
I remember that. Kyle came back to the camper, and he's like, Rob, listen, I saw this thing. You've got to go see this thing. I'm like, what is it?
Like, Don was like, don't tell anybody. I'm just like, I gotta tell Robert. I gotta tell Robert.
Well, I can't find the photo viewer. All I see are Bot Collector, DX Keeper, CIV Commander, DX View, all my DX Lab stuff.
Huh. Well, while you're looking for that, I mean,
anyway, I'll share my screen, so that'll help.
Yeah, there you go. Share your screen. Yeah.
You see.
Hang on, You gotta choose your full screen or a window, and then it'll pop up on my end.
Share.
There you go. Here we go. Now we're Inception here. We're in the Matrix.
Whoops. Yeah, that's not going to work.
Here, I'll remove you until you figure it out.
But this gives us all hope, right? It's never too late. Keep those ideas written down somewhere.
Yeah.
You may have a chance sometime to tackle them. That's what I just heard.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Always be learning. Always be learning. I mean, I had to basically teach myself. It'd been so long since I was in electronics. In fact, I was just talking to somebody today. My original kit was an 8-position antenna switch, and if you look at the circuitry, all the switching, the interface with the microcontroller are bipolar transistor switches. And I get comments all the time and say, well, why are you using those bipolar transistors? Because you got to have a whole bunch of resistors, for bias resistors and everything like that to get it to work well. Why don't you just use like a MOSFET? And I go, well, this is because this is what I learned on back in the late 70s and early 80s, and I didn't know any better, right? So, and I'm certainly not going to change it now, since they're so, since it's so mature.
Yeah. Get us full screen there. Get us full screen so we can see some of that. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
So that's the last prototype before I got the 3D printing stuff done. So I got azimuth and elevation.
Yeah. And
you'll notice something. You see the little 3.5-inch TFT display to the left?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Early prototypes, I didn't have an application on Windows. The application was going to be on the rotor itself.
Right.
With the screen. But then reality set in and it became too expensive.
29 rising.
It became too expensive and bulky. I had to have an external case for this, and it was kind of hanging off the rotor. So I deep sixed it before I had the first workable prototype.
Yeah. And is that it's kind of far on my screen. That's wood, right? You've made it out of wood?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I made it out of wood. But it's pretty much the way the mechanical portions of it is pretty much the way it is now. It's just that the wood has been replaced by the 3D printed resin. And then let me see what I got. Well, no, there's the pot.
There's one of the pots. Yeah.
So that gives you a good picture of just the azimuth. This is before I got elevation going. But this is all the breadboards. You'll see the microcontroller, and then there are the motor controllers up there, and you'll see the ADD converter. I'm actually using the ADD converter in the ESP32, and that quickly told me that I needed to find another ADD converter because the ESP32 microcontroller ADD converter is not very accurate.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're not linear is the problem.
Oh.
So I settled on a Texas Instruments chip, and I went ahead and used the same ADD converter that I use in my SWR meter.
SWR meter, yeah.
Yeah. So that module that I designed with the Texas Instruments chip, and this gives you a good shot of what was that 3.5-inch TFT display, which is, by the way, the same display that's in my SWR meter. So I do reuse a lot of stuff. So you can see the azimuth and elevation are going to be there. You'll be able to do manual, the little up and down arrow buttons, right and left. You can go into calibrate mode, and calibrate mode would be right on the screen. But yeah, I deep sixed it not long after this.
Yeah, very cool.
Anyway,
how long did it take you from the time where you started to work on it to you had something working? Was it a full year?
Yeah, it was I'd say it was like, let's say 9 months.
Yeah.
when I was at Hamcation and I was showcasing it there, the first 3D printed prototype, it had been about 9 months, and from there I still haven't decided yet whether I was going to take the other steps, which are very time consuming.
Yeah.
To actually bring it to market, and I got such a good response and a big list of people that wanted to buy it as soon as I had it ready.
Right.
That I made the decision there to go ahead and do the other work. And people don't realize, like, once I've got the design done, I'm using a lot of parts out of my junk box and stuff I buy off of Amazon and blah blah blah. So I need to spend time to develop reliable source channels, for the motors and the circuit boards and the 3D printing, because I didn't know if the 3D printer would be able to scale up to what I needed, because they're for prototyping, right?
Yeah.
So I had to do that, and then of course I didn't have any manuals written, so I had to write the assembly manual, which I'm not so much starting from scratch, because I can take one of the manuals from my other kits and then I use it as a template. But with this, there's a lot of mechanical assembly, which there's not a lot of in my other kits. So so there was a lot of steps that I really had to focus on to get the mechanical assembly right, and then of course the operating manual. Well, so that was the 3 months,
Yeah, I'm showing the assembly manual here on screen, and it is, if I learned how to read, I'd probably get this thing right the first time. But the assembly manual is great. It is very comprehensive, tells you exactly what to do. Don't do what I did, kids, and not read the assembly manual. If you read the assembly manual, everything falls into place. I mean, I had a couple of questions for Don, after I did it, but after I went and reread what was going on, I was like, oh yeah, now it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I haven't put mine together yet, but I've read the manual. And the other thing I really like about the manual is you can actually read it and it makes sense, and there's like continuity through the entire manual, which is not always the case.
There is a funny story behind that too, by the way, Bob. It took me 3 semesters to pass technical writing in college because I hate writing. I hate it. Right. So I would get.
Everyone hates documentation.
Yeah. So I would get like a month into the course, and then right before the drop deadline, and I would just drop it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do all the. And then finally, when I was working at the Naval Shipyard, I went back part-time, and I took technical writing, and then it made sense because I'd been out in the workforce and using manuals, and I actually the project, the course project, and you're all semester long, it culminates with a big manual that you have to write. And I wrote one for a process that we used for testing radar antennas, doing SWR scans of waveguides and antennas. Using back then, you're using about 15 different pieces of equipment to do so, and it was for the final tests of the antenna for Naval Sea Systems Command. And I used my technical writing course, and this was when I was going nights at Old Dominion University at the time, and that was my project. And needless to say, that kind of set me up on writing technical manuals, and I've been using that knowledge ever since. So it's really stood in good stead. But manuals.
It's a good manual. It's one of the best kit manuals I've ever read through.
Yeah.
Well, Robert, you need to download the latest because I put some. It's a living document. That's one thing I want to stress on all my kits. All my manuals are living documents, and I take input from all my customers, from any support calls that I take, or I get feedback all the time via email, or even chatting with guys at the Hamfests, and I'll make changes where they need to be made. And so there is actually one, and this is Kyle. I wanted to bring this up because on your stream, remember you were having problems. You had two problems. One, the azimuth would go around and round.
Yeah.
And you would have and you would stop it by like turning the pot to one
right
position. And then of course the elevation was going constantly too. Well, the elevation was due to the bad switch.
Yes.
But I found out because several other people were complaining about as soon as they went into do those tests, the pre checks.
Right.
As soon as they plugged the
dongle in,
as soon as they plugged it in, or the motor, and then turned on the board, the motor would start running even before they tried to use the manual switch. And this is on the azimuth side. And so finally I got tired of hearing about this. I couldn't figure it out. So I had a guy send me
complaining about it.
Not you, but so I had one of my customers send me the board and everything he had. This is pre-check. I paid for him to send it to me. And you know what the problem was?
No, I have no idea.
The flip switch was on.
Oh.
So get this. When the flip switch is on,
yeah,
firmware tries to add 180 degrees it sends a new target address of 180.
Right?
And since you don't have the pot engaged, it keeps trying to get it to go to 180, but it's not getting any feedback. It always thinks it's at 0.
So somebody in the chat, whenever I was doing that, said, is the switch on flipped or normal? And so get this. This is even worse. So whenever I wired in that switch, it was backwards. I put it backwards. So it was in normal mode, but it was really in flipped mode.
See, and that's
what I kept saying.
Stuff that goes into my manual, because so right now in the setup for those tests, they'll say make sure the flip switch is off until you're told in the manual steps to test it. Right.
So I thought it was in normal mode versus flip mode, but because that switch was flipped,
yeah,
it thought, it was in flip mode instead of normal mode.
Right. And it thinks I need to go to 180.
Right. Because
it keeps trying to go round and round because the pot isn't turning to track it to 180.
Yeah.
But makes perfect sense now. Pot so that it thinks it's at 180, it stopped.
Yeah.
And then it'll stay stopped. But So needless to say, sometimes that's what I have to do to solve an inherent bug. And it wasn't a bug in the system because it was doing what it was supposed to do, but the assembly manual did not highlight the fact.
Yeah.
So now it does, right?
So the one of the other things that I want to highlight is, I took this thing to Colorado and Robert and I played around with it. We didn't make any contacts because we were too busy either drinking beer or goofing around or whatnot.
Yeah, the beer may have had something to do with
it. And we didn't have a good internet connection where we were at. We were filling around with SAT32 or SAT PC32, which is not the best program in the world. It's I've had issues with it. It's running here. Let me see if I can bring it up on the screen here. And it's just, it's just not the best program in the world. And Robert and I were trying to load new satellites and we couldn't figure out how to load new satellites. So if anybody in the chat knows a trick on how to load the latest and greatest satellites, we want to hear it because it sounds like it's a very manual process to do that. But it is running. And then let's see if I can add another scene here. Can I see? So over here, no, over there, no, over there is my satellite or my kit. And let's see if I can come over here. Yep. So there it is. And it is sitting on a tripod. So Don, one of the things that you wanted this thing to really shine at is, one, to be portable, and two, it runs on 12 volts. So down below, I've got just a bioenno battery, and I've got it plugged into the barrel connector.
Right.
And then it has a 1/4-20.
It's a threaded insert.
Yeah, a threaded insert, and it's just sitting on a tripod. So this is like right behind my green screen here, and it's just set in my basement. And as of right now, let's see, I'm trying to track CASB4. Oh my gosh, now I got to put my glasses on. I'm getting old.
That's 4B. Yeah.
Yeah. 4B, right. So if I come over here and I click this R, see where it says R minus, it's probably here. Hang on, guys. Oh my gosh. I can't, with my glasses and without my glasses, let me highlight this. How in the hell do I highlight this? Here we go. Okay. So if I come over here and I click the R plus, and then I remove the highlight here. Hopefully, oh yeah, see it turning?
Yeah, I'm glad it's working.
So it's turning, and it's so if you can see, I live in St. Louis, so the little cross is where I'm at, and the big cross, it's kind of over Nova Scotia right now, or heading that way.
A little bit north of east.
Yeah, so it's, and the nice thing is the controls on this device are, you always want to point those to the north, right? And it's saying that the elevation is about 7.5 degrees, which can be 7.5. Looks, whenever we were tracking some satellites, Robert, there was one that was like 20 degrees up, and we're like, is that really 20 degrees? But then we point 45 degrees and go, yeah, that's about half, yeah. So it was, so yeah, it's tracking correctly. So, this takes a lot of guesswork and also a lot of less brain cells to be able to track satellites now.
Now, could we just make a circularly polarized lightweight antenna?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That would be great.
So the one thing that you don't get with this is I've seen Robert do this so many times that I'm sick of watching him do it. Those satellites are tumbling, right? So you kind of have to do
but some of the ISS doesn't tumble, obviously.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that. But and some of them are tumbling faster than others.
Yeah. So, I see Robert doing one of these things all the time. So, I kind of figured that's what all the cool kids do. But, yeah, having a circular polarized antenna would be awesome.
Or being able to just switch the polarization, right? Have a switch on there where you could switch the polarization.
Yeah.
I'm thinking on designing a bracket, even for the arrow, or even for the elk antenna, where it's actually fitted into a something that you can rotate. So you'll manually rotate it, so you can go do a quick manual rotation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that you can rotate it like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
In either direction, because unfortunately you've got the elements are going to get in the way of doing a full rotation, right? So
this is another thing, Don, that you might want to be aware about. So I've got an old, I should go and adjust the camera angle. So on my camera stand, it has, basically it's elevation, right? So you want the camera, to be horizontal, right? To the level. Yep. Well, in order for me to do that, actually, I think this is on both my camera stands. I've got literally a thing. What's it doing?
It's going. It should be going back to park, and on SAT PC32, park is, I think, 0 degrees, and then like 30 degrees or something like that. Go to the rotor tab, the rotor menu selection on SAT PC32.
Okay, so hang on. Let me go to rotor
right
setup.
Right next to cat.
Oh, yeah.
Rotor.
Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
See where it park position?
Oh, yeah. So it's yep. 320 degrees.
Yeah, so it went to park. It went to 300.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know why they've got that as the default. A lot of things with SAT PC32. I'm kind of with you on. It's an old program. It's been around for probably a couple decades now. And one of the weird things is if there's ever an error, the error boxes are in German, because the guy that wrote it is German.
We saw a lot of those.
Yeah, we did.
In Colorado. Yeah.
So.
Okay, so now we're gonna. Oh, okay. So now I'm tracking SO50. Yep. So now it's pointed directly east. I'm sorry, west.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we couldn't get it to track SO50 in Colorado for some reason.
Oh, no. It's on E. See, this thing is full of bugs. Like, I'm clicking on C.
You've got SO50 is showing up there though, Kyle. You're on SO50.
Yeah, but I wanted to. Oh, there it finally goes. But why is it now showing E? Like, I don't want to track E anymore.
No, you're not trying. Those are the ones that are in range.
Right, but I click on the alphabet down here, right?
Yeah, but click on C. That's SO50.
Yeah, I am.
Now look up in the upper left-hand corner. C SO50. That's the
okay,
you're
gotcha.
tracking.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. User error.
And
now you have two of them highlighted there.
Yeah, I don't know why.
No. They're not highlighted. They're highlighted by the program. That's just to tell you which satellites are in range.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you got to look up there in the upper left-hand corner.
Up in the upper left-hand corner.
Okay, gotcha.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's dumb.
I don't think so.
So back to my original. So in order for me to get the camera level, I have the little screw that tightens down the nut there, right, to make it sure that it doesn't move. Well, if that we noticed in Colorado that sometimes we were at such a high elevation that it was pointing downward and it was getting stuck onto that that camera tripod thing, because it was moving down and the elements were getting snagged on. Or no, I'm sorry, it was like this, and the back end of it. Sorry, the back end of it was getting snagged on it because the elements from the antenna were sticking so far down that whenever it tried to rotate, the part of the camera elevation screw mechanism was getting caught.
That's weird. Yeah, I got you. So some tripods may have stuff that are in the way.
Right.
Now,
right.
I couldn't make the arm any longer, because then the moment arm is so much that the motors may not be strong enough to bring the antenna up from 90 degrees, right? Because you got to keep it as short as possible. That's one good thing about the that new mounting bracket for the elk that I showed you. It's about half the length of the one for the arrow.
Yeah. So do you want to
need to be that long because there are only horizontal elements on the elk?
Yeah. Do you want to show that as something that you're going to offer?
Yeah, It'll probably be coming out in a couple months. So this is for the elk antenna. If anybody has elk antennas, you know, it has a little, you know, inch. I think it's an inch and a quarter, or no, I think it's a 1 inch Schedule 40 PVC socket, I guess, on the bottom of the bracket for the elk.
Yeah.
So this is gonna replace the, you know, and that's the reason I made it in 2 pieces, is so they can have different mounting brackets. So this will take the place of the one for arrow, and it'll just slide onto the elevation arm, and you see the 3 screw holes, that you can you know, attach it to the elevation arm.
So Robert and I have taken off our PVC brackets, and we have 3D printed a handle that is on the end of it.
We still have that nub.
I've got my elk here. Just hold on a second.
Yeah. So, you know, I wonder if somebody can 3D print like a, yeah. So we have taken off the PVC, and there's a 3D printed part that you can get off printables that literally sticks to the very end of that elk antenna, and allows you. Yeah. Yep.
Anyway.
Okay.
That's a nice little antenna. I like these elks.
Yeah, the elks are great. Yeah. Hey, Eric, do you Eric's in the chat here, KH6WI.
Speaking of chat, I'm not seeing anything on the chat, so maybe I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, I think yeah, you probably have to open the YouTube screen.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Eric, do you know how to add satellites easily in Sat PC32? Robert and I were trying to do that, and we didn't have enough brain cells by the time we got done with doing stuff on vacation and also drinking beer that we gave up. So maybe Eric from Hawaii's got some ideas. He's big into satellites too. Yeah, so it's rotating. It's doing its thing. It's great. It's oh, he used PST Rotator. How much is PST Rotator? Is it $30 or $40 to buy?
Something like that, to get a supported version. Yeah.
Yeah. Should I share everyone with or share my thoughts on the Arrow antenna? I'm going to make a video, but you guys are going to have a sneak peek on the Arrow. I hate that thing. That thing. So
tell us how you feel, Kyle.
I mean, paid $250.
He is a strong word, Kyle.
God, well, I dislike it very much. I like my elk. So, you know, 39 euros, which is what, 45 bucks, 45 American dollars, maybe $50. So one, I put the thing together whenever I first got it sent to Denver, and put it together and was like, oh, okay. And just, you know, put it together and waved it around like, you know, Luke Skywalker, and then, you know, put it back in its case. And so then I put it together a second time, you know, at 10,000 feet. Maybe it was the beer, maybe it was the altitude. I don't know what it was, but like all of the elements were like, they were all screwed up. And I'm like, this don't look right. So then Mike, N8YO, and Robert came over. It's like, I don't know what's going on with your antenna, but it's totally out of whack. Well, I had no idea.
All the elements in the wrong.
Oh, yeah. Robert, I think this is another user error.
Yeah.
You have to really pay attention on where those elements go, especially on the 440 side.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
the 70-centimeter ones are.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
pretty close.
There is no room for error, especially if you've got like
if you go by the rule that they gradually get smaller as you go forward.
But the difference is like this much. It's like you got to line them up, and you're like, oh, is that bigger? Is that smaller? Oh, it's very hard.
Yeah, yeah. Especially after a couple blue moons, it's difficult to tell the difference.
Robert is like, what is going on with your antenna? And I'm like, I don't know. because those elements, there's 3 elements that are the same. There's one that's just a little bit bigger, and then there's one that is on the driven element, and that one is just a little bit bigger. And then you've got the long one in the back, the reflector, right? Yeah. So it literally, if you're in a hurry, like the nice thing about the elk, and this is what I need to email Arrow, is it would be nice if they had colored bands. Like red was all of the front ones.
I was really impressed with his colored bands.
Yeah, the elk antenna, like you know exactly where, right? And you can assemble that thing literally in 30 seconds and be on the air, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is the guy who sells them, you know, obviously put a lot of thought into it. Yeah, I'm sure he would take constructive input. Yeah, maybe
he'll see my video. Or something. He'll see my video, and then he'll ban me from the site.
Okay. He'll probably send you a note saying he wants his back.
Yeah, well, nah, you ain't getting it back. I paid good money for this thing. So Eric, yeah, labeled mine with a little bit of electrical tape. Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of colored electrical tape, Kyle. I'll bring that for you at Huntsville.
Yeah, make sure it's real bright colors, because my eyes are getting dull in my old age. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep my Arrow antenna on for my rotator here, and that's going to be my, you know, one that I take on the road, and you know, going to break it down and put electrical tape and get it all to the point where I can get it up and running quickly. And then my elk antenna is going to be the one that I take if I want to do, you know, manual, you know, satellite work. So
yeah, I think that's a good plan. I'm going to do something similar, I think. I mean, I like traveling with the elk. It's just easier to travel with. It's less fiddly. There's less elements.
Yeah.
You can keep it assembled and it'll lay flat, unlike the Arrow, where, you know, it's kind of hard to store it.
Yeah. I mean, the Arrow has a little bit better gain, right? But
it does, yeah.
I think the elk gets the job done, and it's less mess. That's why I like it.
Yeah. Also, you know, I needed to get the duplexer for the Arrow. I run a Kenwood V7A.
Make sure you turn your power down, because you'll smoke that duplexer.
Right. So I got to make sure that I turn that thing down to, like, I think I haven't fiddled around with it yet. I haven't hooked it up to the Arrow. But I think I'm going to have to just run it on 5 watts, because I think my mid power on that V7A, I think is 15 watts.
Yeah, you'll smoke it.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring, obviously I'm going to bring it to Huntsville, because Don and I have to swap units. I'm
perfectly okay keeping the one I've got, Kyle, if you don't want to do that, but you know, I'll have it.
Yeah. And maybe we'll set it up at the pavilion on Friday and let people look
that'll
at
be
it.
fun.
Yeah. We'll have a lot of people at the pavilion and let them look at it and track some satellites. And then if you want to buy one, you can drive down to Huntsville Hamfest on Saturday and buy one directly from Don.
And I'm going to have at least 10 or 15 with me. I'll have the truck loaded up. In fact, I've been spending the last week, when I can get out of the garage, you know, it was like 95 degrees. So I was only a couple hours every morning. I'm building a new display kit, a new display for all my kits, because I kind of outgrew my other. You remember, Kyle, the one I have?
Yeah.
The little, it's maybe 3 feet long. That the you know, the switches and the SWR meters sit on. Well, I've built a big 5-foot wide display so that I could put the rotor on the tripod. So the tripod, I'm going to have the legs fully collapsed. So it'll just be sitting on a little, you know, on the tripod with the legs all collapsed, but it'll be on the table.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to make a small, like a half size wooden antenna, you know, demo antenna, so that it won't so it can rotate without, knocking people
Getting
over,
caught up.
Yeah.
that type of stuff, just to kind of give everybody an idea of how it works.
So
I should have that with me. It'll be debuted at Huntsville.
Oh, nice.
My Hamfest display.
I just saw this comment from Ryan. Sorry, Ryan. There's rings on Thingiverse you can print that go on the elements to identify the elements. Can you, Ryan, can you send me a link to that? I'm good on QRZ. Can you send a link to my email address?
I'd be curious to see what that looks like, because
Yeah.
okay, so now you have a ring on the element, but how do you know where it goes on the mast?
Yeah. You probably can't put the link in the, actually put the link in the chat if you can find it, and I'll approve it. And we'll go take a look at it. Yeah. I want to be able to, like, if the antenna isn't able to be put together at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're half awake, and you need more brain power to do that than actually, walking. I'm not.
Well, Kyle, if you think about it, right? Like, how many times did we stop on the mountain in Colorado, right, to catch a pass, right? And I can step out of the truck, and in 4 minutes, I can have my antenna put together, I can have my kit on, and I can be in position to work the bird, right, in 4 minutes.
Yeah. It was.
I'd still be trying to figure out where to put the element on the arrow in 4 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Where we were just driving at 10,000 feet, and Robert get on the radio and say, "Pass in 15 minutes." We'd pull over, and just he'd work a satellite between two mountains. Oh yeah, Grayman Pota. Yeah, sorry, Tim. Grayman Pota asks, ask Don what radar he worked on. Interested people want to know.
Oh, so there are several. And for a time frame, this was like 1982 through 1992. So the one I worked on most was ANSPS 49. In fact, I may have around here somewhere.
I'll highlight you here.
I knew I had somewhere on here somewhere. ANSPS 49, long range eyes of the fleet.
Long range eyes of the fleet.
The big potato chip looking radar antenna. That radar took up an entire room, like 5 big cabinets.
Wow.
The transmitter, like several megawatts peak. It was a beast.
Tim says he knows it well.
And then that was an air search radar, and then I did SPS 67, which was a surface search radar. And then man, I can't remember the little navigational radar that I used to work on, LM66 or something like that. LM66. And then I dabbled a little bit with the SPS 10, which was the older radar that the SPS 67 replaced. So yeah, I had a blast. I love that job. I can't believe they were paying me to do that, but things come to an end.
Job.
I use SPS 50 whenever I go out in the sun. So, hey, Tom, longtime viewer. Thanks, Tom, for coming into the chat. He always is in the chat, giving good input. He also, Tom, you the program, the logging program that you work on or you own, I forgot it. Put it in the chat so we can give it a plug here. Sorry, Tom, that I don't know it. I give the arrow with colored electrical tape to complete newbies at field day, and they have it put together in 5 minutes. Longest thing is to screw the elements together. It's 3 a.m. set passed approved. Yep. I need some color, some electrical tape. That's what I need. think that's what I'll do. But I'm interested to see these 3D printed, rings. Yeah, it's I know that there's some people out there that have the TR4W. TR4W is the if you're looking for a logger that is no frills and does everything you want it to do and does a lot of the output that N1MM does. I know that I worked with Tom on some XML stuff for Node-RED. TR4W is the program if you're interested. So go check Tom's program out, logging program. If there's anybody in the chat that has a rotator, I know that I think there's a couple of you guys out there that have a rotator. I'm interested in like how many satellites have you worked so far? Have you worked a satellite? Have you not worked a satellite? Might take about 30 seconds for the chat to catch up because we're on a small delay. But and then Eric says, if you leave the 70 centimeter elements on the boom, it's even easier. I just take off the 2 meter elements and strap them onto my backpack. Yes, I hear you, Eric, but I got the purple bag, that comes with it, or, you can get it. And you got to, in order for it to fit in that bag, you got to take everything off. Now, I have figured out a way that I don't have to take the satellite arm or the rotator arm off of one of the, the main beam. I can just take it off of the top of the moment arm, All right. Don, what's the top part and the bottom part called for the arm? Do we have a formal name for it?
Let me look in the manual.
So I take the top part of the arm off from
it's the upper elevation arm and the lower elevation arm.
Yeah, so I take the upper elevation arm off of the lower with the 3 screws, and I leave the upper elevation arm connected to the main shaft of the arrow antenna, and I can get it into the purple bag, and it seems to work fine. So that's what I do. Oh, Bill is in the chat. I keep on clicking on the wrong one. Sorry, guys. NB8M. Bill. You probably know Bill, don't you? Just did an ISS pass before the live stream. Very nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to do my first pass with the rotator this weekend. That's my goal, is to get a couple of contacts in. Hopefully it'd be with the ISS, but we'll see what passes are around my area. My other goal is to so all of you guys that have PST rotator, can I update, or does it have a way to automatically update with the newest satellites? Because some of you have not, you just started watching here. We were talking about earlier to update the satellites in SAT PC32. It's a pain in the butt. And I don't know if I want to go through all of that rigmarole on adding new satellites. So in PST rotator, is it much easier to add satellites, or is it automatic? Is there like a button I can press and it does, it gets all of the updates? And is it Kyle proof?
I want the easy button is what he's saying. I want the easy button.
Is it curmudgeon proof? Tom says yes, it does. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to buy that thing for $43. I mean, I already spent $250 on the antenna. I might as well spend another $43. It will update TLE for you, but you still need to add the ones you want to the list. Oh, yeah. I expect that. I can totally do you know, hey, I want this satellite and I want that satellite. I just don't want to like, I just don't want to go through the manual update of like, you know, adding the keps first and then you have to update it after that. You know, it's like, oh my God. Well, some people are saying, yes, it'll update, but it's not Kyle proof. That might be a bad thing.
Kyle, I'm going to figure out the SAT PC32 thing. So once I figure that out, I'll create a Don style manual and send it your way. It your way.
You need to make a video. The Mike Walker's video on SAT PC32's got 20,000 views.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm sure there are other videos that show it, but probably none that have been made recently.
Yeah. Mike's video is about 7 years old. So Eric says the demo is fully functional.
That sounds like a good weekend project.
Yeah. All right. So we're coming up on a, did you guys see the antenna move? Now it's tracking AO27. So let's highlight this. So you guys gonna have to take my word for it. That is pointing kind of towards South Carolina, which that's correct. It's pointing that way. So, Don, thank you for coming on the stream here. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Kyle, and I look forward to seeing you guys in Huntsville in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, let's go over to your website just for giggles here, and let's highlight this. Why is it? Oh, there it is. Why isn't it? Hang on, guys. This program is not Kyle proof. Entire screen. Why is it not showing the? Oh my gosh. Hang on, guys. I don't know why it is not.
I mean, I see it fine.
That looks pretty good.
Well, it's not showing on my end. Hang on, guys.
Oh.
Entire screen. So we're just going to do this here. And then we're going to go to add screen. I don't know why it's
there.
But it's
got a little wider.
Yeah, but it's not the screen that I want. I don't know what's going on here.
I see the MCM. I see Don's webpage. Yeah,
this is my website.
Yeah, it's not showing up. Hang on, guys. Hang on. I got to figure this out. Why is this not?
So Don, you can see what we were dealing with here in Colorado.
Okay. Here we go.
Clearly.
Yeah. It's like I've been drinking already. All right. So now let me highlight this and now okay. So here's Don's website, WA4MCMkits.com. You can see the portable satellite rotator kit there. Yeah. And then here is the watt meter. So the nice thing about the watt meter is, Don, you had put some effort into the firmware to make sure that like the peak hold capability was dead on, and you did a bunch of other stuff with the firmware that you might not get with some other SWR meters.
Yeah, that was actually with a firmware update about a year after I first released it, because the peak hold was done using hardware, basically an RC network, which was kind of okay, but it wasn't a true peak hold. And now it's done in firmware, so the microcontroller basically constantly keeps track of what it reads as a peak, and it'll hold it for however many milliseconds you want it to hold. So it works pretty well. I get a lot of good feedback on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy another one of these at Huntsville. So put one aside for me. We gotta replace it, or replace an LPL. And then you got your 8-position antenna switch and your 4-position antenna switch. I mean, for $230, that 4-position, that's a steal. That's an absolute steal.
You know, one one of the most common questions I get is, why are both the 8-position and the 4-position kits the same price? and the reason is the 4-position switch actually has the added feature of, being able to, it injects the control voltages over the main coax, so you don't have to have a separate control cable. So you see that third box there, the little one that's the bias T that can go in line with your coax, usually in the shack, and that enclosure, along with the bias T components, because you've got components in that box as well as in the relay box. Those added components, the added cost for all that stuff, more than makes up for the reduction in cost for the reduction in RF connectors and relays.
Yeah, because you don't have that in the 8-position.
Right, you have to have a 4-conductor control cable.
A
separate control cable for the 8-position,
which is coming out right here, right?
Yeah. Well,
up here at the top.
Yeah, a little bit of delay. So yeah, that's correct. That's the control cable there in the top, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So Don has been busy, and he's probably more busy now than he was, working for Amtrak. All right. Well, very good. Thanks, Don. I appreciate all of your hard work and your excellent support that you give the end user, and your attention to detail on the kits. They're great, and everything that you put together is awesome. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Kyle. Thanks for the good feedback here, and I like I said, I look forward to seeing you guys in Huntsville. We may have to set some time aside after the fest, and maybe sit down and try a couple of blue moons. Although I don't blue moon that much.
I'm always up. Come up on the mountain. You have to come up on the mountain and hang out with us.
Yeah. Well, I've been instructed to tell you from Tim, don't forget to tell Don I said boiler up.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that's a Purdue thing.
Boilermakers, yeah, the Purdue Boilermakers, yeah.
Yep.
Man, all right, like a lifetime ago. So, all right. Well, I got to get some shut eye because I got to get on the road to go to Dublin, Ohio tomorrow for the Irish Festival.
Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, very good. Well, thanks, Don. Appreciate it. We're gonna let you go, and so we're gonna end the stream. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in Huntsville.
See you guys.
73.
Bye. See you, gang.
All right.